you're a company driver. Okay, it's not like being an owner operator. But the stress gone is big. Nothing's ever going to be perfect for everybody.
Right.
And it's all about finding the right fit.
Welcome to Beyond the Bulldog, presented by Mack Trucks. I'm your host, Brian Wright. What you can expect from Beyond the Bulldog is to learn, enjoy, and participate from the comfort of your seat, whether on the road or off. You'll engage in topics and stories from people that work in the trucking industry, including some who work for Mack Trucks. This is mile marker number 11. Our guest is Robert Taylor, a trucker who has been on the road ever since he could drive. Robert shares his insights and stories about life on the road, from driving a school bus at 17 years old to becoming an owner-operator to his current position as company driver for Walmart.
You're listening to Beyond the Bulldog, presented by Mack Trucks.
Welcome to Beyond the Bulldog.
Nice to be here.
We have Robert Taylor. He is a company driver with Walmart. Well, thanks so much for coming.
You're quite welcome.
I'm really pleased that we know each other. I'm really pleased that you're able to join us and share some of your background and stories from the trucking world. So why don't we start with who you are, how long you've been trucking, how did it start?
I started driving a school bus when I was in high school, because in North Carolina, school bus drivers were high school students. So in 10th grade, I started driving a school bus. How good an idea was that to have a 16-year-old who's had his license 7-8 days, and he's in a school bus driving kids. But I think in North Carolina back in it would have been the late 70s, our records were clean because the buses were governed at 35. I think we had a Marine drill sergeant that was over the buses at our high school. So there was, had to stay on your toes or your face if you were doing push-ups. But he ran a tight ship, and I enjoyed it. So then that led, did lots of other things. And finally, after running my own business in a body shop and seeing that was expensive, and employees didn't care for that much, I got on with a sister company to a less than truckload large carrier, and they were truckload carrier, and they had a terminal near my home. So I got on with them, and remember making the statement about 2 weeks in, I can't believe they pay me to do this. Loved it. Things were great.
Yeah.
Company was smaller, and so I dealt directly with one dispatcher, unless he was out, and then you got another one. So you build a rapport with the person dispatching you. When you build a rapport with someone, you can give input to where you want to run that's in the area that they run. And you've got some more favorite things you like to do, and that worked well for, I think I was with them 7 or 8 years. They started growing, as do any successful companies. They grew. And it got to where I didn't feel like I had one-on-one contact with my dispatcher anymore. It was whoever was there and available, and computers just started coming in. Started out, it was phone. So when all that happened and all the automation, and then I didn't feel like I was, like you had a team with you. You were a number. Whatever they needed to get done that nobody else wanted to do, well, he'll do it.
Right.
And anyway, so after that, I'm looking for something else to do, and I had younger children, so I didn't want to be gone for a month or 2 months or something like that. I wanted to have a little more control. So I thought that was what I would get with an owner-operator.
Yeah.
So I purchased a truck and leased on with Landstar, big lease company owner-operator.
Yeah.
And they ran pretty good, had a pretty good deal for owner-operators. You had the coverage of a large company, freight availability, but as years went on, I learned that the percentage was, it was a little tough to make it on kind of what their percentage, and you still needed to try to find your own loads within their network.
Because they had the authority, right? You were working under theirs.
Yes, working under their authority.
Yep.
But we were responsible with all the other. And one of the things I did like about Landstar, they really wanted your truck to be legal, safe. We did 3 inspections a year we had to do for them versus just your yearly thing. Also had hazmat and Department of Defense certification to haul explosives.
Oh, no kidding.
And when first years I was with them, they had government contracts. And I got into some of that, not the heavy haul, but hauling ammo, sometimes some test stuff out of Aberdeen, Maryland.
So what was that like? Obviously different than carrying, let's call it, pillows, right?
Well, if it was just normal, could carry on any truck anywhere. Department of Defense works with, they worked with Landstar. That was one of their preferred carriers. Felt like they had more control, I think. So you had all your paperwork straight. You were working through a larger company. Pretty much after a while, what's in the box is in the box. It doesn't really matter. Nobody knows.
Right.
And that's kind of the way they wanted it. Still have to be placarded for whatever.
Right.
But, just like anything else, you just get to go to some interesting places.
Right.
And you show up to a gate and there's guards with M16s and dogs, and they check every inch of your truck, every cabinet, every box, anything, which leads to one interesting story. I went to, I think it was the Air Force Base in Tampa, which is the southern command for everything. I was hauling office furniture. It wasn't even anything spectacular. This was after 9/11. So, security, pretty tight. You went through 3 different gates because I had to go deep into the base. And they checked the truck, had a little mirror they ran under the truck looking at everything. So I'm standing outside the truck waiting. So I go follow the little Jeep over to where I was supposed to unload. Somebody's always near you. You're not just left to sit. You can go in an office, they have stuff for you, but while they're unloading, they're not going to just let you walk around. So there was a colonel out there, and we were just chatting, and I asked a question. I said, all this security, why didn't anybody open the back of the truck? 53-foot trailer, never opened it. Well, it had a seal on it. I said, I got a whole box full of seals. They're crossed out all the time on paperwork. He went, that's a good question. So that was pretty interesting.
Right.
I think that probably changed.
All right. So you got a military contract. You're hauling for them with Landstar. What's next?
Started doing some loads, hauling replacement windows out of Kinston, North Carolina, still with Landstar. I like to find stuff that I was doing for the same people regular instead of just not knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
And I ended up with some good runs down to the Gulf Coast, Texas. I like to be home on the weekends if I could, or if I had to work a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then take a little time.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Because with family.
Yep.
And, with everything else, these companies find a different carrier, or in my case, you had other guys that were with Landstar that had maybe been hauling this a little longer, so they got some of the preferred runs. And nothing against people from the Northeast, but I don't like their weather in the winter.
Not too many people do.
It seemed like just all of a sudden they're like, well, we need you to go to Maine, or you to go here or there, and it didn't seem like they had a rate that was paid to, the window company paid a rate, and it didn't matter where it went. So I decided to leave Landstar. I had buddies that we had worked together with the first company I was with, and met some through Landstar, and they found the same thing, and they went elsewhere. And one called me and said, "Hey, I'm pulling a reefer, same areas, going all the time. making money. Of course, then my truck started aging
Mm-hmm.
to the point where it was going to need some real money.
Right.
And it's hard to do a rebuild on a truck and not work.
Right.
So,
And as an owner-operator, it was just single truck?
yes.
Yep.
So the owner of this was a real small carrier we went to. I think he had 20 trucks at the time, 20 leased owned people, had no company drivers. And so he had a program where he would buy a used truck. He would lease it to us on a weekly payment deal.
Mm-hmm.
And my truck was shot. But because it was a nice truck, somebody else wanted it and wanted to pay enough that I didn't have to put a lot out of pocket to get in another truck
Mm-hmm.
that was ready to ride.
So what kind of truck do you look for? Like you're gone. This is your house away from home. You're gone for, let's call it a week at a time at least. And so you've got to have, what is it that you're looking for in those types of trucks?
Able to have a microwave.
Mm-hmm.
I want some kind of table. I don't want to sit on the bed. I sleep in and eat.
Mm-hmm.
And a refrigerator. The first truck I had was a Kenworth W900 with a studio sleeper. It didn't have a table, but it had on the bottom it had a pull-out couch, and then there was a bunk above it.
Mm-hmm.
So I converted the bunk and put an electric system to raise the bed back up. So I would sleep on the top bunk, and I built a table and put kind of what the Volvo has with the table on the bottom, which I thought was the best system ever.
Mm-hmm.
And that worked well
Yeah.
because I didn't have to make my bed.
Mm-hmm.
Just raise it up to the ceiling.
Yep.
I put a APU on it, but not a stand. I put a generator on it and put a rooftop air because I had been with APUs that didn't cool enough in the top. So I put a
Yeah, because you're at
rooftop
the top of it. Yeah.
because the Kenworths weren't the super high inside. They were a studio, not a whatever they call the high roof.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I would look for is a large enough area that you don't want to just sit in the driver's seat or the passenger seat when you're resting.
Mm-hmm.
New trucks stand up, lots of room,
Mm-hmm.
perfect for if you're having to haul. And they're not stretched out a mile like the old ones. And a lot of guys wanted the big stretched out, and that's fine if you're running stuff that it doesn't matter. But now running for Walmart where you're going to each store, there are a lot of little roads.
Mm-hmm.
And those trucks don't work on the tiniest roads. You need a truck that is configured for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to be a one truck fits every need. We're not running one brand. Well, Walmart runs Freightliner, International, Kenworth, Peterbilt,
So you've got a whole bunch of different trucks.
different trucks.
Yep.
Which you get in one, you get in another, you've got to learn where all the buttons are. I'm sure now with all the electronics are becoming more the same throughout each truck.
Mm-hmm.
They're all going to have lane departure, everything you can do with electronics. So there's not that much difference anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all the buttons in a different place.
Right.
So it's tough if your normal truck is not there and I'm in a Freightliner, they put me in an International, nothing is where I know where it is.
Right. Well, that matters when you're on
It
the road
does.
and you need to flip a switch and it's not where you're looking for. Now you're spending time looking away from the road to find whatever it is that you're needing.
Trucking has changed and more over the last 5 to 10 years with electronics and government regulations. They want different things. I know a lot of it is try to get better fuel mileage. I get that. Hey, companies like that too. It's more money on the bottom end. But okay, let's get back to becoming an owner-operator. It's tough. If you're a kid and you like trucks and you dream of doing it, everybody has their favorite truck, whether it's the old Mack Bulldog, single stack with a can on the back, or whatever truck you want. Well, you get it and you think, things are great. We're going good. I can just haul here. If I want to go to California, I can go.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you better have a load picked out to come back.
Yeah.
Because they may pay you pretty good to go out there. And then you're out there and you start to come back and go, well, wait a minute. This is not near what it was to come out here. Well, guess whose part that comes out of?
Right.
So there's a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the days of, I don't even know what fuel was when I started, but way below what it is now.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter if you had these trucks that didn't get but 3-4 miles a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? It was, 30 cents, 50 cents for a gallon of fuel?
Right.
Not anymore.
Yeah, it's a little bit different now. This year, Mack Trucks celebrates its 125th anniversary and the release of our new flagship truck, Mack Pioneer. To commemorate these historic milestones, Mack Shop has released limited edition apparel and accessories. From shirts and hats to coffee mugs and bags, Mack Shop has lots of ways for you to show off your love of this iconic American brand. And right now, podcast listeners can save 20% off selected items just by using the code MACPODCAST. One word, no spaces. Just go to MackShop.com for all the latest Mack styles and make sure to use the code MACPODCAST to get 20% off. So we are here with Robert Taylor, company driver with Walmart, and we're talking about life as an owner-operator. You said earlier that you had a good relationship with your dispatcher, and that relationship was great. You were getting the runs that you're looking for. When the relationship fizzled a bit, it was time to look somewhere else. So tell me a little bit about, not necessarily that, but how your work, especially as an owner-operator, is contingent around the relationships between you and the customer and the people that you deal with.
I always tried, even when I had a dispatcher that I got along with and I thought was looking out for me and, put me in the things I wanted, because having a young family, I didn't want to be gone months or even weeks.
Yeah.
And if they could get me in stuff that was out and back and I could be home, not necessarily the whole weekend, but, a day during the week and one weekend day, all that would work. But, as usual, the company's needs went from that. So that's when I went to owner-operator. Well, owner-operator, you think, well, great, I get to choose my loads.
Yeah.
Well, yes, if you're booking them all for yourself. But if you're trying to work through a network to where while you're driving, you can't be looking on the computer screen for what loads pop up.
Right.
So that's where you kind of have to have somebody that's their job.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the relationships mean the most.
Right.
So, and even if you're leased on somebody, they're getting their loads from somebody. So there's where all that works in. And if you get to the point you don't feel like they're listening to where you want to go, or in my case, it was where I didn't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Was not a big fan of north, especially in the winter.
Right.
And that makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did make relationships with customers that if I like hauling replacement windows, it's a big company.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they worked through the leaser I was with. Well, I still tried to make friends with the people at the company because they came up with a load and where it was going to go. Well, I kind of wanted to be friendly with them so that maybe they would think about me to do that load.
Mm-hmm.
And usually had good luck with that until you didn't,
Right.
Because things work different ways. So, yeah, if you're going to think about owner-operator, you have to think about the things nobody's going to tell you.
Right.
Maintenance. You got to have a maintenance fund, and you have to do that every time you receive a paycheck. You have to put back lots. You probably need 10 to 20,000 that you can access because parts are expensive.
Right.
Labor is expensive.
Mm-hmm. Did you do much of the stuff yourself?
I did everything that I could physically pick up myself or with a hoist. I could plan when tires needed replacing. I did those on my own in my driveway. Oil changes.
Mm-hmm.
Did them myself. Oil pan, 8 gallons of oil. Just something you do.
Yeah.
And as that went up greatly.
Right.
And greasing, that's something you do every week.
Mm-hmm.
Walk around the truck, do your pre-trips, and just know you've got to keep up with your maintenance.
Yeah.
And pre-LED lighting, bulbs, salt air, and all that does to metal.
Mm-hmm.
Bulbs. You better carry a suitcase full.
Yeah.
Maintenance is big.
Yeah.
And planning for replacements.
How did you manage that? Were you working with the same truck long enough that you kind of knew the service interval?
Yes. Yes, my first truck that I owned, luckily over the first year or so, I didn't have to do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Tires here, there, but no large replacements.
Yeah.
The longer you drive it, the more of those pop up.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of you just, I had a little money put back, not near enough as it turns out in most cases, but if you're having to plan for a end frame of an engine, that's going to be a $15,000 to $20,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's just the engine.
Yeah.
It's not the transmission or the clutch. So if you have to do a transmission, you're going to do a clutch. If you have to do a clutch, you hope you don't have to do the transmission. But if it's already out,
Yeah.
but that's a lot of money. So maintenance is huge. If you get behind on your maintenance, you broke and something happens and you take the cheap shortcut, it'll bite you.
Yeah.
And stuff never breaks when you have plenty of money to do it and plenty of time.
It's exactly right. It's always when you're rushed, you're in the middle of nowhere.
You got a deadline,
Yeah.
and some of the stuff I hauled was strict deadline. Oh, your truck's broke, well, get a wrecker.
Yeah.
Haul the trailer to us, and we'll take it out of your pay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask, how did you manage those scenarios? Who do you call? How do you keep your word when things are happening outside of your control?
That's where if you're on your own, totally an independent,
Mm-hmm.
then it's all on you, which you're a company, but it's your own company.
Yeah.
I mean, you can control what you control, but if you're in an accident and your truck's down,
Mm-hmm.
you either lease a truck, rent a truck,
Right.
or in my case, I had several buddies that were either leased to the same company or something, and I could call them.
Mm-hmm.
They would come get my load if they could and carry on from there, and that's happened. But you have to plan for all that. And if you're a lease owner operator, the lease company a lot of times will.
Mm-hmm.
They'll repower your load.
Yeah.
And at the end of the load when it's delivered,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to take all your money, but they'll break it down and
Right.
you might get something, but you're not going to get what you would have gotten. And that's fair.
Would it make more sense if I was going to start an owner-operator business to just lease a truck, have them deal with the headache versus owning my own?
That's the best way to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Get your feet wet and
Okay.
see if that works. Because in most of the companies, if you lease to and it's you're leasing a truck from a leaser company, they're going to have some maintenance guidelines
Mm-hmm.
and may have a shop that does some of the maintenance, but they will take out of your portion a percentage for taking care of the problems.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the best way to get into it.
Yeah.
That's Landstar had all those programs, and that made it better. You're not jumping off the cruise ship into the ocean
Mm-hmm.
with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be a life preserver, but you can still see the ship, so you might be able to carry it out. And you have to talk to other drivers. Talk before you make a decision.
Yeah.
You want to talk to owner-operators that
Mm-hmm.
are all on their own,
Yeah.
and you'll find that they're on their own because of somebody they knew that was with, the same place, or their father was a truck driver,
Mm-hmm.
and he decided not to drive anymore, so he had contacts and just said, well, I'll just be a company and see if I can hire some drivers.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, do your research.
What was the best part of being an owner-operator?
Somewhat being able to control where you went,
Mm-hmm.
how long you were gone. You weren't just a number or a seat cover.
Did you have any business direct with a company where they're like, hey, we've got this product that we needed to go from A to B. We need to run once a month. Was that possible with what you were doing?
Sometimes it was. The first company job, first trucking job I had,
Mm-hmm.
they would, we ran Lowe's Home Improvement. We hauled some Target. So, you haul, everywhere has their stuff hauled. So they're all trying to get things. And if you could get on a program with some of those, it became more routine.
Mm-hmm.
That was fine. But
Yeah.
sometimes it wasn't available. And,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind going some places that maybe I wouldn't choose to go. It's interesting. I've been all over.
Right.
Did you know?
Did you know Mack trucks built fire trucks? The first recorded use of a Mack truck as fire apparatus occurred in 1909, when the Allentown Fire Department used a Mack tractor to pull a horse-drawn aerial truck. Other fire departments used Mack chassis for hose trucks, city service hook and ladder trucks, and pumpers. Mack trucks began building fire apparatus in 1914 with the Mack AB, and entered the field in earnest in 1919 with the Mack AC. Production continued through the following decades on a variety of chassis. In 1956, Mack acquired the C.D. Beck Company, an Ohio bus manufacturer who built a new cab-forward pumper chassis. Mack started building and marketing this chassis as the C-Series, and it was an immediate success. During the 1970s, Mack started to sell chassis to other fire apparatus manufacturers. In 1983, Mack directed its sales force and distributors to stop accepting orders for complete fire apparatus. Full apparatus production wound down in 1984, and the CF and R were discontinued in 1990. At the present day, Mack chassis are still used for fire apparatus, with bodies built by other manufacturers.
This has been Did You Know?
We are here with Robert Taylor, company driver for Walmart. Let's talk about driving for Walmart, driving for a company where they're employing you directly. And now, managing the truck is a bit different, managing the routes a bit different as well. How did you go from owner-operator to where you are today?
When you're an owner-operator, the money is all mileage-based. You're getting these loads, and they're paying you X cents or whatever per mile.
Mm-hmm.
That fluctuates.
Mm-hmm.
That might as well be the stock market, up and down every day. And regions of the country pay different. Managing it you can't.
Mm-hmm.
So you're at a mercy. There were 2 or 3 other drivers that worked or leased to the same company, had their own trucks, and they went to Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, he was there about 3 weeks, and we all talk. Everybody talks on the phone to each other. One called me. He said, "Sell your truck right now. You need to come to Walmart."
Really?
Said it would be the place to retire from. I think they're probably the highest industry pay. Walmart or UPS.
Yeah.
With Walmart, if you have the experience and clean record, you go through their orientation and training, and you drive, and you make good money.
Yeah.
You have retirement.
Mm-hmm.
You have everything working for a company, big company. Sick days, you don't have any sick days as owner operator.
Right.
If you have vacation,
You drive when you're sick.
If you have vacation and your vacation does not consist of working on your truck and not driving and making money, that was a lot of vacation.
Yeah.
You plan
Yeah.
you plan to have brakes and everything done on the truck. Well, you hire that done and you run to the beach right quick and stay in a tent so you don't have to spend any money. With Walmart, you have a schedule.
Yeah.
And If the truck breaks down, they just send another truck.
Mm-hmm. How's the schedule different when you were running your own business and you had the flexibility to do it? Probably ran into somewhat of a rhythm, when everything was working right. How is that the same or the different than how it is today?
With Walmart, you're an employee.
Yeah.
Employee versus leased driver. I mean, you need to work, so you have to work, but you don't have to make 6 month out plans or a month out or whatever plans to be off.
Yeah.
With Walmart, you're a number, and they treat you well,
mm-hmm.
but you can't do exactly what you want to do. It's like any other job.
Right.
I have zero complaints with Walmart.
Right.
You're working in a region. Most of our schedules are between 5 working days. They have some work 6 days, off 3, work 5 days, off 2. And then they have all kind of work-ins of different schedules.
Right.
With Walmart, you're running
mm-hmm.
nighttime, daytime. We have all different start times. When I first started at Walmart, can't remember, I think it was 1 a.m. was my start time.
Yeah.
And we delivered groceries. So you went in and out of 2 or 3 different Walmart stores every night delivering groceries. You're a company driver, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like being an owner-operator.
Mm-hmm.
But the stress gone is big.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's ever going to be perfect for everybody.
Right.
And it's all about finding the right fit.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're working for a company or you're leased to a company, the full-blown owner-operators, I haven't read any reports lately on, breaking the numbers down for that, but I would think that that's becoming less and less. They used to be big in cattle hauling and these other things, but now, these big companies that survive, the big companies, it's the same for them. They can't put all their eggs in one basket. You can't have 20 guys that are owner-operators and that's all you have to run, because 20 trucks could be broken down and you
mm-hmm.
still have to satisfy your customer who needs their product moved.
Mm-hmm.
My schedule now is 6 on, 3 off. Well, you don't have weekends. I mean,
yeah,
you're going to have maybe 1 weekend a month that you're home Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'll have a lot of them. You'll be off either Saturday or Sunday with other days. And then you'll run a while that, you're 3-4 weeks, you have no weekend day off.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get to see your friends because they're working when
mm-hmm.
you're off sometimes.
Right.
And always have more at home to do than you can get done.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's not, it's not just trucking that does that.
Sure. Well, Robbie, this has been awesome.
It's been fun.
Before we break, what is the best advice that you could give someone today wanting to go as owner-operator or maybe just starting off in the trucking industry?
Ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a person that can't take direction and don't want to hear about a lot of rules and you don't want to have anybody in your business, don't drive a truck.
Mm-hmm.
Be flexible. Make plans and try to follow your plans and ask questions. Ask other people. If you're handed a load and you're not sure, but ask. Don't just think you're smarter than everybody else, and don't be shy. I don't have a problem now after years of experience saying, look, I don't understand this. I don't know what.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a way to let somebody else be the one to take some of the blame if something happens, let them have it.
Sure. Well, that is terrific advice. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
All right. Been good to do this.
Thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Bulldog with our special guest, Robert Taylor. We are working hard to provide the stories and topics that keep you entertained. Let us know what you think about this week's podcast. We are interested in what you want us to cover and what guests you think would make for an entertaining podcast. Please leave your comments and suggestions in the comments section below.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure to follow the Bulldog.